Your ex turned into your biggest hater. Now, this message isn't for everybody. It's only going to resonate with a few people. This is shared for educational and entertainment purposes only. And the topic of discussion is that your ex turned into your biggest hater. Now, this is a gender fluid message. And also, too, you can make it fit however it's meant to fit for you. This doesn't necessarily have to be romantically. It don't have to be an ex. It could just be people from your past. It could be relatives that you cut off. It could be old friends. It could be old flings, whatever. Old business partners, whatever. But your ex, this past person, turned into your biggest hater. This person turned into your biggest hater because when they had you in their life, they did not value you. Even though you brought value to this person's life, they did not value you, and they, poop emoji on you. You came into their life and you enhanced their life because you are an asset. And instead of actually appreciating you and valuing you and the value that you brought to the table, they used and utilized your energy to big themselves up and put you down. They were taking from you. They were subtracting from you, okay? But this past person, turned into your biggest hater after you left their life. You see, at first, after you guys parted ways, this individual, they didn't necessarily care. They numbed themselves, they distracted themselves. They didn't necessarily care. It wasn't until they started to feel your absence. They started to, feel, the value that you actually brought into their life because your absence was, your presence was no longer there. So the value and the additions that you made into their life, it was no longer there because your presence was no longer there. You see, when you're a particular type of person, I don't know how to categorize it, but people can manifest off of you. This is why you go through so much strife, betrayal, and struggles, because you have manifestation abilities. Just by people being in your presence and being associated with you, a lot of people are very parasocial. So they're utilizing you to big themselves up, to upgrade their own social status. A lot of people, they have become leeches. A lot of people leech off of you. So that's the case. That's the sort of dynamic that was going on. When you are a certain person, even if you don't know it, you have manifestation abilities. You can manifest for yourself and others as well too. And some people know that about you. And even if you don't know that about yourself, they try to stick around you so that they can manifest. So this individual, right after you left their life, things started to go a little bit rocky. The blessings that they received off of your energy, it left, because after you left, all those blessings left, your value left. And they also started to get karma for the way that they treated you and how they did not appreciate you. I'm not trying to make this too long. But overall, after you guys parted ways, to sum it up, this individual started to realize just how much value you actually brought to the table. And they started to realize, how they mishandled you, that they really fumbled the bag, to be honest. And they turned into your biggest haters. Instead of being accountable for their own actions and saying to themselves, like, dang, I really messed up with this individual. I really lost a genuine person because of my own mishaps. Instead of saying that, instead of being accountable, they chose to attempt to lash out on you. Even if you guys are from a distance, even if you guys are not in connections, they have negative energy towards you. They have been projecting negative energy towards you because they are mad at themselves for fumbling you. Even they went as far as some of them, like some of these past people, these exes and stuff, they went as far as trying to ruin your reputation. And, they went as far, which nobody can ruin your reputation. The truth is always going to outlast a lie at the end of the day. But they tried to change how people perceived you, and they knew just how much of a blessing that you were, so they tried to interfere with you getting into a new relationship. You see, men talk. Yeah, just like women talk, men talk. So, certain men would probably approach your ex or something like that, even if they didn't know this was your ex, they would approach them and they would, voice their interest in you and things of that sort. It doesn't have to be an ex, it could be a business partnership, it could be a friendship, whatever. They would voice that they were interested in you and they wanted to give you an opportunity, regardless if that's platonically, business, or romantically. And this past person, because of their bitterness from fumbling you and not being able to have access to you anymore, they started to lie on you and they started to attempt to get these people to not give you opportunities because they were mad that they wouldn't have access to you anymore. And, it's not really love. People like this, they claim that they love you. It's not really love, it's possession. Because if you really love something, you're truly able to let it go. Even if it means it will hurt, you're truly able to let it go because that's what love is. Love wants you to be happy, even if you have to let go of that person. So this isn't love, this is possession. So yeah, they became really bitter and they couldn't fathom seeing you being loved and seeing you all the things that you were truly deserving of. So they attempted to try to destroy that by running their mouth. They were saying some egregious things. These people went as far as saying, smell that. For some people, they saying you smell that. They probably said, you don't know how to cook, your food is nasty. You don't, like, they were saying all types of stuff to get people to not pour into you, to not invest into you, like all types of stuff, saying you got bad attitude, you messy, you a cheater, all type of stuff, This is for only a select few people. You are genuine. This is what people were doing to try to get people not to invest into you. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they were saying all types of stuff. They said, yo, game is trash, all type of stuff, just because they didn't want nobody to have you. My goodness, they did not want nobody to have you, so they started to lie. And this was just a learning lesson for everybody. For certain people, they had to learn to start trusting themselves and stop trying to, go to other people for advice. Like, they had to learn that some people do give bad advice. Like, it was a learning lesson for everybody. But yeah, I wanted to share that. Like, you had a past person who was really mad because they lost access to you, so they didn't want you to have anything good in your life because they understand just how much of an asset that you are, and they didn't want anybody else to receive, you as an asset. They knew that how much of a loving and genuine person you were, and they didn't want anybody else to, have access to that. So they attempted to control, people's perception about you and control the narrative in order to get people to not invest into you. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. This is for entertainment, educational purposes only.